One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips, betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. Religious doctrines are all illusions, they do not admit of proof, and no one can be compelled to consider them as true or to believe in them. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. In the depths of my heart I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. Immorality, no less than morality, has at all times found support in religion. No, our science is no illusion. But an illusion it would be to suppose that what science cannot give us we can get elsewhere. Religion is an illusion and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. It is that we are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love, never so helplessly unhappy as when we have lost our loved object or its love. He does not believe that does not live according to his belief. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. Where the questions of religion are concerned, people are guilty of every possible kind of insincerity and intellectual misdemeanor. America is a mistake, a giant mistake. Neurotics complain of their illness, but they make the most of it, and when it comes to taking it away from them they will defend it like a lioness her young. Beauty has no obvious use, nor is there any clear cultural necessity for it. Yet civilization could not do without it. My love is something valuable to me which I ought not to throw away without reflection. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. The creative writer does the same as the child at play, he creates a world of fantasy which he takes very seriously. What progress we are making! In the Middle Ages they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. The more the fruits of knowledge become accessible to men, the more widespread is the decline of religious belief. Loneliness and darkness have just robbed me of my valuables. A love that does not discriminate seems to me to forfeit a part of its own value, by doing an injustice to its object, and secondly, not all men are worthy of love. It goes without saying that a civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. Where such men love they have no desire, and where they desire they cannot love. Our memory has no guarantees at all, and yet we bow more often than is objectively justified to the compulsion to believe what it says. And it is only after seeing man as his unconscious, revealed by his dreams, presents him to us that we shall understand him fully. For as Freud said to Putnam, we are what we are because we have been what we have been. It is impossible to overlook the extent to which civilization is built up upon a renunciation of instinct. I never want to belong to any club that would have someone like me as a member. The unconscious of one human being can react upon that of another without passing through the conscious. Who lacks sex speaks about sex. Hungry talks about food. A person who has no money, about money. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. We have learned, for example, that the more virtuous a man is the more severe is his superego, and that he blames himself for misfortunes for which he is clearly not responsible.